Welcome to In the Key Demos Wrestling Review. I am Zero the Hero, and he is.
Not Super Mario.
Today, we're going to discuss, will AEW go anywhere with the Young Bucks and Omega as EVP, as creative? So, yes.
So, what do you think about? I think no. They won't. But if you take them off that position, I think they leave. So you're really stuck.
That's
I
a good
mean,
thing.
it would be nice if they would recognize their faults and let somebody more experienced like JR or Arn Anderson or somebody that's had more experience putting a show together, like, and booking. Let them put it together and take a step back and just focus on the wrestling, because that's what they are. They're wrestlers. I don't think they can. I don't think they'll reach that next level with them in charge. Maybe Cody. I might.
Okay.
I don't know, but Cody, I think, is the right guy to be an EVP. I don't think you'll agree with that.
Okay, so this is the way I see it. So, when they made Arn Anderson part of creative creative, Ric Flair, Cornette, whoever it was, they had experience with that style of wrestling, traditional pro wrestling in the 80s. Now, I'm not saying the Bucks and Omega are bad bookers. They're good bookers to their own style of wrestling.
Yeah, they are.
If you like that style, you're going to love it. But if you're not into that style, especially on TV, where it tends to, like, that style does not translate well to TV, you need somebody who's been in the business, Cody. So right now you have too many chefs in the kitchen. You got Tony Khan, the Bucks, Omega. That's four people, and then you got Jericho. So he knows the business. The problem is he focuses too much on his comedy. So it's like he's in a way he's not contributing either. But yeah. So I definitely think clearly without them, if they need one booker, according to many people who were in the
It cannot
business.
be Jim Cornette.
No. Anybody who's just experienced in the business. It could be Kevin Sullivan. It could be Conan. It could be there's
Yeah,
people out there. Or look, I don't even mind having Nick Aldis, despite the fact he's still wrestling. He gets it. Have somebody who gets it. I don't mind if it's a wrestler, but someone who takes it seriously, have them book if they're good at it, obviously. But you know, but with that said, these guys are inexperienced. They don't know how to format anything. Nothing makes sense. It only makes sense to the fans, and it makes sense to the fans because they have the fans kind of guess the story, and that's not how you do storytelling. So yeah,
I don't. I mean, I get what they're trying to do, and it appeals to their fans. So you have to keep doing it the way they're doing it, but just bring in somebody that can just help them organize it better. You don't have to bring in Cornette, but I like it when Cornette says he takes a crap segment or a crap match and he tells you, like, even though he wouldn't book it, he tells you he'll put it together in a way that makes sense. You need to hire somebody like that to get them over to that next level, because this what they do does appeal, I guess, to the younger audience, which is what you need, but you just need somebody to help you put it together to make sense.
that too. And the problem with the elites, as we've seen, and see, okay, they like to cater to the fans, as everybody knows it. It's for the people, right? The people, Pat Patterson, the
People
people.
power.
No,
Wait,
no,
who was
no.
that guy?
That was Laurinaitis.
Laurinaitis, yeah, people power.
I went from Pat Patterson, you went Laurinaitis. But anyways,
Well, I'm not that old.
anyways. So I lost my train of thought. Right. So the problem is they cater to the fans. And look, Tony Khan, it's been on record. He likes Orange Cassidy, but he didn't want to give him that big push. He got the big push because the fans were obviously in the crowd chanting for Orange Cassidy. So he kind of was forced into it. Even he knew that gimmick kind of has like a certain ceiling. He knew it, but he had to do it to please the fans. So Now, who else do you have? You have Maki Ito.
Oh,
I
but she's
bet
gone
you.
now.
I boom.
You didn't know
Hopefully,
that?
I heard she went back to Japan,
Yeah,
but
so she won't be back for a while. So, ooh, thank God on that one.
I mean, we
But
don't.
Orange Cassidy, yeah, it was just too much overexposure. Somebody like him, you gotta kind of book him like who is it? The Fiend in WWE, like kind of like a special attraction or appearance, just comes out once in a while. Someone like Orange Cassidy has to be booked like that because now you just overexposed. We've already seen him, and he just pretty much does the same thing
Yeah. So, but with that said, people wanted to see Maki Ito, and we got Maki Ito.
with those horrible long
And
shots.
they people always say you don't know how to use the word buried. That fans don't know how to use the word buried. They buried Cheetah. She's the champion. You don't make her look weak. They made her look beyond weak. They made her look foolish.
Just to
They made her
please the
look
fans.
stupid. Exactly. But with that said, so this is the problem: is that the elites are trying to bring in, or not bringing in. They're taking the advice of the fans, and they
Yeah, you
actually,
could tell they read all their comments and go based on that, like on well, all
yeah,
the positive
exactly.
comments, and like look at some of the negatives too, and go off that too.
See, this is what bothers me. You have those moments. You have Dax versus Jungle Boy. Despite what some people may say that, oh, wrestling should not be holds and this and that. That was a traditional match, right?
And
Nobody
everybody loved
complained.
it.
Everybody loved it. Exactly. So why not try and go in that direction? You can still have your key players like your Darby, your Sammy G, your not Gavar, your Jungle Boy. You can still use them, but they want to go in this path of BTE. To me, it seems like AEW is they're trying to make it into BTE. It doesn't. BTE is
Well,
fine. Go.
mhm. Well, what they can't find either is the right balance. Because, like you said, traditional wrestling, the fans loved it, but it seems like they want to do like a show with every single match exactly the same. Why can't they find that balance? Like traditional wrestling, move on to the next match, different type of match, then go, yeah, back and forth. Like, but no, it seems like every single match is booked the same.
Exactly. That was promise in the beginning, saying that AEW will have all these clash of styles. And yes, we've seen that. We've seen many styles. The problem is one show would just be completely indie. One show will have some pro wrestling, and there's like no in between. Like it doesn't. It's just it doesn't work. So that's the problem. And whose fault is it? Obviously, it's all the inexperience.
All the
So
indies. And I'm not an AEW hater, unlike other people I won't mention, but I mean, I want it to succeed. I don't want nobody out of business because I get it. People are still need their jobs, but just take it seriously, right? I mean,
exactly, it's like, see, these fans always say, "Oh, wrestling is fake. It should be silly because we know it's fake." That's the reason nobody's watching AEW. What's the reason? Oh, because it's been out for what, 2 years? That's not the reason. The show started with 1.4 million fans and went half that already. The fans were there. They wanted to see this so-called product that would be an alternative, and they all said, "Screw that!" In 2 weeks, all gone. So the fans are there. They want to see wrestling, but instead we get they're so unprofessional. They don't dress up correctly. They're in their damn pajamas and in their Mickey Mouse shirts. They're just the format is just horrible. The booking is just it has too much experience. So you're saying JR. So what would JR do?
well, I mean, he could book it better. I mean, I read his book. He's got obviously he was in charge of all that in WWE for years, and you see how it turned out for all those good years. So, I mean, basically, he could pretty much do the same thing if they let him here. And I'm
Okay.
pretty sure he will get rid of more than half the roster, which I won't let him because I know that's something he wanted to do to TNA. So I'm pretty sure the guy's in pain watching that show.
Yeah. I mean, TNA, it wasn't even that bad, honestly, despite the fact that they try to make for example, they had Daniel Bryan and his whole craze, his whole yes movement. They try to have Eric Young try and be the Daniel Bryan. It just didn't work. So they do try and mimic WWE, but even then, it was still kind of watchable because the guys were experienced. So, but with that said, if he had trouble with TNA, imagine AEW. So that's the reason why he buries AEW, because he truly does hate AEW.
Yeah. Well, because I
But
feel like he wants to help, and obviously they will probably
nobody's
want more.
listening.
And Conan will be another guy. But like I said, all the EVPs will have to take a step back and let these guys do their job. But that'll never happen, which I think is the reason why AEW won't grow. Sorry, AEW fans, but it's not going to grow with these guys in charge.
You made a good point. If the EVPs get let go of their position, will they stay?
I don't think so. It's all elite wrestling, right?
Where would they go?
Back to New Japan, most likely, because they won't go to WWE or
uh,
Ring of Honor.
See, speaking of New Japan, never mind. I'm not gonna go there. But anyways, yeah. So clearly, these three guys, Cody, he tries his best, but clearly the whole format of the show is just awful. So his stuff. But anyways, but yeah, so they got these three guys and they got Tony Khan. They got too much minds trying to work together. And even Cornette said so himself. He said, even if it was just Tony Khan or even just Matt Jackson or just Omega doing all the booking, he said so himself. He said it would be a lot better than having all these creative minds, these bookers. And I agree. The problem is they do have too much. See, because if you're a booker, you got to deal with the wrestlers. Every wrestler wants their time. So when you got five guys, and I guess you could say six with Jericho, you have six guys, and they're all trying to work with like a certain wrestler, but then the other guy has plans to use that wrestler in the future. I think that's what's going on right now. Is that if you notice that these storylines seem like they're going week by week more than it's not thoroughly thought out. I think that's what's going on because they have too many bookers, and they like, let's say for example, let's say you got MJF, right? You got MJF and you're Tony Khan or Cody. So you're old school based, right? You want to see MJF after Moxley. You wanted to see him form the Four Horsemen, and then from there feud with Jungle Boy. But what if Matt Jackson wants to use Jungle Boy for his own feuds?
Yeah.
So that's the problem. Is that I think it's all mashed up and it's not making any sense because Penta, he went from being a face to feuding with
To a
Cody.
heel. Yeah. Well, I
A
don't know
lot
if
of
he's a heel, but
I,
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's just not very well put together. But yeah, they really should hire somebody with some experience. But like
have
I
one,
said,
yeah,
the Bucks and Omega won't stay if they take him off.
yeah, just have one
So,
guy think about it all, have it all planned out, make it all make sense. See, AEW fans are crapping on WWE for like saying that Raw or whatever it's week to week or like at that moment. It's always been like that. Vince always changes it. We've seen this with AEW. It seems like feuds are just getting stopped and started like nothing.
yeah,
To me, it seems like they're making it even worse because at least WWE does have like kind of a plan for like 3 weeks. Then it's another program in 3 weeks, 3 weeks. So they have some idea. But with AEW, you had Scorpio Sky feud with what's his
Harvey.
name? No, the Four Horsemen guy, Sean Spears.
Oh, okay.
And they were hinting a heel turn from Scorpio Sky as he kept feuding with Sean Spears. They dropped it. They completely dropped it and brought it back up 2 months later. So
Well, that's what the fanboys call long-term booking.
that's long-term booking. That
You start something and get back to it months later, maybe a
uh
year later.
that's That is just poor. That is a
Long
poor
term
excuse.
booking.
That's a poor excuse. Long-term booking is this. Long-term booking is Cody and MJF have heat because obviously MJF screwed
That's
over
why they're
Cody.
rescued.
So what you can probably do is this with the four horsemen after they demolish the IC. Hopefully they break up. You had the four horsemen start feuding with everybody else, and then somehow Cody gets stuck in in this whole thing. And obviously MJF and Cody have a feud, like a history together. That's how you do long-term booking. You don't have a storyline and stop it with Scorpion Sky and Sean Spears and then start it up again. That's not long-term booking. It has to make sense. But anyways,
All right, let's let it out. All right, yeah, they just need to get rid of the EVPs. Well, not get rid of them because people will still want to see them as wrestlers. But yeah, take a step back.
so yeah, so clearly these guys are not cut out. They're good for their style of wrestling, but it's not good for TV. So that's I think what we agree on, right?
Yeah, like
All
just
right.
hire somebody else. So
Any last thoughts?
no, just trying to finish this episode of Dynamite behind me. Don't know what's going on, but what about you? No last thoughts? Anything else?
No.
No, let's finish watching Dynamite then. Everybody have a good night.
Where?
What?
Did you?
We're in the key demos wrestling reviews.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so have a good night, everybody.
You forgot the outro.